Stop everything you are doing right now. Look around you. Look at the chaos of the modern world. The notifications pinging on your phone, the endless cycle of buying things you don't need, the anxiety tightening your chest about a future that hasn't even happened yet, and the regret over a past you can no longer change. We are drowning in noise, desperate for a moment of peace, desperate for a happiness that doesn't evaporate the moment we get what we thought we wanted. But what if I told you that the cure for this modern madness isn't something new? What if the secret to an unshakable mind, a fortress of inner peace that no tragedy, no enemy, and no disaster can destroy, was discovered over 2,000 years ago? Today, we are going to unlock the ancient operating system of the mind known as Stoicism. We are not talking about being a statue without feelings. We are talking about the ultimate power, the ability to be happy even when the world is falling apart. This is the philosophy of happiness and the art of letting go. To understand this, we have to travel back in time. We need to go back to the Hellenistic period, around the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd centuries before Christ. Picture the sun-drenched streets of Athens. This is where a man named Zeno of Citium, born on the island of Cyprus, changed the course of human thought forever. But Zeno didn't start from scratch. Before he founded Stoicism, he walked in the footsteps of the Cynics. Now, when you hear the word cynic today, you probably think of someone sarcastic, someone who doesn't believe in the good of humanity, someone fake. But erase that definition from your mind. The original cynics were the punks of the ancient world. They were the masters of detachment. They believed that to be free, you had to need absolutely nothing. Imagine a man named Diogenes. He is the most famous cynic. He didn't live in a house. He lived in a large ceramic barrel. He owned nothing. He wandered the streets in broad daylight, carrying a lit lamp, holding it up to people's faces. When they asked him what he was doing, he would simply say, "I am looking for an honest man." He couldn't find one. Diogenes was radical. He rejected every social norm, every desire for wealth, power, or reputation. There is a legendary story that perfectly illustrates this power. Alexander the Great, the most powerful man on earth, the conqueror of the known world, heard about this philosopher living in a barrel. Fascinated, Alexander went to meet him. He stood over Diogenes, casting a shadow over him, and said, "I am Alexander the Great. Ask me for anything you desire, and I will give it to you. Lands, gold, palaces, anything." Diogenes looked up, squinting, and simply said, "I have one wish. Stand a little to the side. You are blocking my sunlight." That was it. The most powerful man in the world offered him everything, and Diogenes only wanted what nature provided for free, the sun. He didn't need the king. That is the root of the philosophy we are discussing today. But Zeno, the father of Stoicism, took this idea and refined it. He didn't want to live in a barrel. He wanted to teach in the real world. He began teaching his students in a public place, a structure known as the Stoa Poikile, or the painted porch. This is where the name Stoic comes from, the people of the porch. Zeno taught that while we should live simply like the Cynics, we must also understand the laws of the universe. There are laws, cosmic rules, that are unbreakable. Take death, for example. It is the destination of every living thing. It is the one absolute certainty. Now imagine how much energy we waste fearing death, trying to run from it, pretending it won't happen. Zeno taught that this fear is irrational. If you cannot stop the sun from setting, why cry about the darkness? If you cannot stop death, why fear the inevitable? The goal of life, according to the Stoics, is to reach a state called Ataraxia. Ataraxia. Remember this word. It is the holy grail of the human mind. It means the absence of trouble, the absence of perturbation. It is a state of apatheia, not apathy in the modern sense of being lazy or uncaring, but a divine tranquility where you are no longer a slave to your passions. It is a fortress of calm. To achieve this, the Stoic stops fighting against the current of the river of life and learns to swim with it. The philosophy traveled from Greece to Rome, and this is where it gets truly fascinating. In the Roman Empire, Stoicism became the operating system for the most diverse group of people imaginable. We are going to look at three titans of Roman Stoicism: a slave, a tutor to a tyrant, and an emperor. They all practiced the same philosophy, proving that it works whether you are in chains or ruling the world. Let's start with Epictetus. He was a slave in the 1st century. His name, Epictetus, literally means acquired. He didn't even have a real name. He had a broken leg, likely from a violent master. If anyone had a reason to be angry, to be bitter, to hate the world, it was him. But Epictetus found freedom in slavery. He taught the most fundamental Stoic principle, the dichotomy of control. He said, "If you want to be free, you must despise the things that are not up to you." It sounds simple, but it is the hardest thing you will ever do. Think about it. Does your reputation belong to you? No, it exists in the minds of others. Does your wealth belong to you? No, the market can crash, or a thief can take it. Does your body belong to you completely? No, illness and age can take it. So what is yours? Your opinions, your reactions, your will. Epictetus said that if someone insults you and you get angry, you have just handed that person the keys to your happiness. You have let them become your master. Any person capable of angering you becomes your master. Why? Because you surrendered your peace to them. The Stoic king is the one who cannot be triggered. Then we have Seneca. Seneca was one of the richest men in Rome, a playwright, and the tutor to the infamous Emperor Nero. Imagine trying to teach philosophy to a man who would eventually burn Rome and kill his own mother. Seneca lived in the center of a viper's nest. He wrote extensively about anger and time. He said, "All cruelty springs from weakness. Strong people don't need to be cruel. Only the weak and insecure lash out." Seneca also diagnosed a sickness that plagues us all today: anxiety. He said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality. We lie awake at night creating horror movies in our heads about things that haven't happened and probably never will. We ruin the present moment by fearing a future that doesn't exist. The man who fears he will suffer already suffers because he fears." Seneca taught us to face the worst-case scenario, accept it, and realize we can survive it. And finally, the most paradoxically powerful figure of them all, Marcus Aurelius. He was the emperor of Rome, the most powerful man on the planet. He could have anything. He could kill anyone. He could indulge in every pleasure. Yet, he wrote a personal diary, which we now know as Meditations, never intending it to be published. In this diary, he wasn't writing to the public. He was coaching himself. He wrote, "Don't waste time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." He stripped away the pomp and circumstance of his title. He reminded himself constantly that he was just a man, that he would die, and that fame means nothing. Marcus Aurelius gave us one of the most beautiful images of the mind. He said, "The soul is dyed by the color of its thoughts." Imagine your mind as a fabric. If you constantly dip it in vats of jealousy, fear, and anger, your soul turns purple with bruising. But if you dip it in thoughts of resilience, acceptance, and gratitude, your soul becomes golden. You are the artist of your own character. He taught that we must practice each action as if it were the last of our lives, not in a panic, but with total focus and reverence. If this conversation was the last one you ever had, would you be checking your phone, or would you be fully present? It is important to note the relationship between Stoicism and Christianity. The early Christians loved the Stoics. They preserved their texts because the values were so similar: resignation, peace, avoiding sinful passions. But there is a crucial difference. Stoicism is a realistic philosophy. It doesn't require a belief in a personal, loving creator God who watches over you. It believes in a logos, a universal reason, a structure of nature. It's more like physics than religion. It says, this is how the universe works. Gravity pulls you down. Time moves forward. Bodies decay. Accept it. The Stoic finds peace not by praying for a miracle to change the laws of physics, but by aligning their will with those laws. So, how do we apply this today in a world of social media, inflation, and endless stress? The Stoic advice is timeless. They would look at our consumer culture and laugh. We are obsessed with upgrading our lives. A bigger house, a faster car, a better job. We think, if I just get that raise, I'll be happy. But the Stoic says you are solving the wrong problem. If your house is too small because it's full of junk, the solution isn't a bigger house. It's getting rid of the junk. If you feel poor, the solution isn't necessarily more money. It's needing less. The richest man isn't the one who has the most, but the one who needs the least. This is the ultimate freedom. The freedom from the tyranny of more. The freedom from the slavery of other people's opinions. The freedom from the fear of death. The Stoic looks at the world with clear eyes. They see that emotions like envy, blind rage, and terror are useless perturbations. They don't fix the problem. They just break the machine. You. So, here is the challenge. Read the masters. Pick up Epictetus and learn how to be invincible. Read Seneca and learn how to manage your time and your anger. Read Marcus Aurelius and learn how to lead yourself with dignity. The goal is to cultivate that fortress inside you, to reach a point where the world can scream, the markets can crash, and the internet can burn, but inside your mind there is silence, there is order, there is happiness. Because happiness, true happiness, is the one thing that is completely up to you.